We'll be doing predictions for week 9 of this college football season. So starting with Missouri at Alabama. This was going to be a tough one for me, but now that I saw that Missouri's quarterback Brady Cook is going to be out for this game, I do think that Alabama will win it. Alabama's offense has been a disappointment recently. This season, they really only seem to have one elite playmaker on offense, except for their quarterback Jalen Milrow, and that's their freshman wide receiver Ryan Williams, and Jeremy Bernard is a solid wide receiver for them. But other than those two, their wide receivers don't really seem to be any good, and Bernard isn't what I'd call an elite wide receiver. He's just a good wide receiver. And then their offensive line has been struggling this season, which has caused their run game to struggle in these last couple of games, even though they've got two really good running backs, Jam Miller and Justice Haynes. And then for Missouri and Alabama, these are both teams that I would say are pretty overrated when you look at how they have been this season and how they were supposed to be before the season began. So Missouri's defense is okay, but it's nothing impressive. And I didn't expect Missouri's defense to be very good this year because they lost it too much. But Missouri's offense has been what's the disappointment for them. They were supposed to have an elite offense this year, and you would have thought they could have returning a experienced and a pretty good quarterback, and they had a pretty good running back room, and they had a great group of wide receivers and a very experienced offensive line. But even when Brady Cook has been in there, Missouri's offense has not been very good this season. Now they do have Luther Burden at wide receiver, who is still one of the best in the country. And if they're able to get the ball to him with Brady Cook being out, he could cause some problems for a weak Alabama secondary. So I do think that Alabama's front seven, though, will be good enough to pretty much shut down Missouri's run game. And I saw one of Missouri's running backs is also going to be out in this game. But I do think that this game will still be close. But I do think that having Jalen Milrow for Alabama will be a huge advantage compared to Missouri playing a backup quarterback. I've got Alabama getting the win 28-20 over Missouri. And now Oklahoma at Ole Miss. I'm gonna be at this game because I'm an Ole Miss fan, and my dad is a longtime Oklahoma fan. But Ole Miss, I think, is going to blow out Oklahoma. Ole Miss's offensive line has been having some struggles since they've been playing SEC opponents, and Oklahoma does have a really good front seven, especially Danny Stutzman at linebacker, who is probably the best defensive player in this game. I do think that Oklahoma will be able to get some pressure on Jackson Dart and slow down the Ole Miss offense some in this game. But Ole Miss has a huge advantage quarterback in this game, having Jackson Dart. And Oklahoma, I saw, is going back to Jackson Arnold at quarterback in this game. And I know they're going to have a new offensive coordinator in this game, but I don't think any of that is going to matter because Oklahoma's offensive line is much worse than Ole Miss's has been. Their offensive line has been one of the worst in the country. It's like it's not even there, and Ole Miss has got a elite front seven this season, and their best pass rusher, Princely Man Molina, should be healthy now. So Ole Miss, I think, is going to dominate Oklahoma's offensive line in this game, and Jackson Arnold. I don't think we'll have time to find receivers in this game, and he's going to get sacked a whole lot. And Jackson Arnold right now just isn't any good in any way. Their quarterback situation is a mess right now at Oklahoma. So even though Ole Miss is a secondary right now, isn't where it needs to be, I don't think, for them to be able to win a national championship. It's not going to matter in this game. So Oklahoma again won't be able to run the football, and Jackson Arnold isn't even going to have any of his good receivers, except for maybe Dion Burks in this game. I think that Oklahoma's defense may be able to keep them in this game for a while. It may be like 10-3 Ole Miss at halftime, but Oklahoma's defense, I think, is going to get tired in this game from having to be on the field so much because they're going to have so many three and outs offensively in this game. So I think Ole Miss will be able to pull away, and I've got Ole Miss getting the win, 30-3 over Oklahoma. And now Texas at Vanderbilt, a game that I thought not very long ago would be a for sure win for Texas. But this Vanderbilt team is nothing like the many Vanderbilt teams of the past. This is actually a decent team. And the biggest reason why Vanderbilt is so much improved this year is their quarterback, Diego Pavia. He's one of the SEC's best quarterbacks this year. He's a good passer and a good runner. And Vanderbilt's improvement this season is, I think, more offensively than defensively, even though I think their defense is a little bit improved this season. But Diego Pavia is the biggest reason why Vanderbilt beat Alabama. They wouldn't have won that game without him. He ate up Alabama's defense, throwing and running the football in this game. And Texas, to me, after watching them play against Georgia, doesn't really seem to be a national title contender. I still think Texas is a really good team, and it's not that they lost to Georgia. Why I'm saying that, it's because of how much they lost to Georgia by. If that game would have been a close loss, I would have said that Texas is still a national title contender, but the game wasn't close at all, and really it seemed like it was worse for Texas than the actual score was. And Texas's wide receivers, I think, have been a little bit of a disappointment this season. Except for Isaiah Bond, they haven't been able to get very much production out of their wide receivers. But Steve Sarkisian is still a really good play caller, and I still think Texas has a good offense that will be able to score quite a bit on Vanderbilt because I don't think Vanderbilt's defense is very good. And Texas's defense, I'm still really high on. Their defense, I think, will do much better on Vanderbilt than Alabama's did. Texas's defense, I thought, played well in the Georgia game because even though Georgia scored 30 points in that game, most of those points came from a good field position. So I do think that Texas will win this game. I've got Texas getting the win 35-20 over Vanderbilt. So that will be it with this video, and please subscribe and thanks for watching. And I'll be back tomorrow with some more prediction video.